Hi guys, this is Vysh from Vysh IAS and we are going to continue the History NCERT series. So we are in class 9th now and this is the chapter 4. Chapter 1, 2, 3 were on world history, the French Revolution, Russian Revolution and the story of Hitler. So it's a little bit lengthy video compared to other NCERT classes because it had lot of content, lot of chapters, nearly 30 pages in every chapter. So it's not necessary you do it before prelims also, you can do it later. But based on your interest, okay, if you're history optional students, you can start watching it. Else, you can do it later also because in prelims we are not going to get any question from world history, okay. And NCERT just tells you the story. Anyway, we have to do it from some other source also, which we'll do later, okay. Because now we are not in a hurry for world history. But I did not want to break the flow of NCERT. That is why I did those 3 chapters and uploaded the videos, okay. Now chapter 4 and 5 will be comparatively smaller. It's but UPSC's favorites actually. The forest and tribes, lot of tribe names again you will learn. And chapter 5 is again about the pastoral groups in the highland, in the grasslands, in different places, okay. Majority in India only. They'll take an example of within India and something outside India and just compare, okay. That's what they have done. So we'll go quickly. Lot of actual things are there. I'll keep on highlighting. So try to remember, but I know we'll forget such things. So try to make notes also, okay. As and when I'm telling, pause it and then make notes. MCQs also, we have lot of MCQs. This is the Facebook page link. Try to get it nearly 400 history MCQs based on these textbooks, okay. What more do you need? If you get those things, it will be a perfect revision, okay. These textbooks plus spectrum, anyway you will be doing my videos. After that, how will you revise? You will not be having sufficient notes, or I am not giving away the slides also for everything. So better thing, you can get the MCQs, okay. So you solve MCQ means it's actually solving textbooks only. The same textbook I have picked questions from here, okay, in UPSC's format, UPSC standard only. So try to get that. Many students have got it, so they are asking for more questions and more textbooks also. So that is why I am speeding up this NCERT series, okay, so that we can start other textbooks also. Okay, so NCERT PDF will be available in the website, NCERT website. Go and get it from there. And we are starting forest, society and colonialism, okay. So first they are telling like the forest, obviously we have lot of dependency on it, whether it be oil or honey or coffee, gum, tea, rubber, chocolates also for the oil in it, okay. So like that many things are there. Again, fuel, grass, charcoal, packaging, fruits, flowers, animals. They're telling about the benefit, okay. Amazon forest, like the lungs of the world they call it, or the Western Ghats also, and also in the Northeast India also. There are huge amount of evergreen forest, with too much canopy, and even the sunlight will not reach the ground. That level of forest we have in India and also outside India. This particular picture is about a sal forest, okay. Sal, the tropical deciduous trees. I think when we learned teak, sal, deodar and all, it was in the tropical deciduous category in geography. If you have not watched geography series yet, please start watching it, okay. We have to complete all the NCERTs this month itself so that we can focus on something else from next month, okay. The sal forest in Chhattisgarh is again having these trees and plants and all, variety of species, okay. So that is why it is also popular. Now deforestation, it is a very big issue, and UPSC have asked questions time and again in most of the GS1 paper or GS 2, 3, or sometimes in essay also they ask about these kind of deforestation, climate change and all related topics, okay. So disappearance of forest is referred to as deforestation, we know that, and it's not a recent problem. It has been happening from centuries, okay. Right from the colonial route it is happening. They used to clear a lot of forest because they needed trees for different purposes, okay. So land needs to be improved. Half of the the cultivation land, okay. If suppose some X land was being cultivated, now it is many times more than that, okay. 3 to 4 times more than that cultivation is happening because people will be settling more and more, so they need lands for cultivation, so they'll be clearing forest and then they'll be settling down, okay. That is what has been happening since centuries, okay, because population has been increasing. So that is what they're telling. Again, good pictures they are showing, okay. Some valley with full of bison. It's not in India, it's actually Great North American Plains, okay. So that is why it's very beautiful. In India, beauty is there, but it is now limited to certain areas only. Now again, they're telling about this cultivation increased and land is being cleared, okay. So there is no much data there. Next important thing is here the sleepers on tracks, okay. The railway tracks, the sleepers here in box it's also given again. The wooden planks laid across the railway tracks, they hold the tracks in position, okay. So for that they needed trees. Railway started in the time of Dalhousie in India, 1850s. So converting sal logs into sleepers, okay, in Singhbum forest, Chotanagpur, okay. So in this area, near the Jharkhand area, the Adivasis, they were hired for cutting by the forest department. British had done lot of acts and laws for this particular thing. I'll show you different acts in subsequent chapters. So That was happening inside India also, outside India also. Here there is again a place in Chittagong Hill Tract. You know, Chittagong Hill Tract we saw when we were learning history, actually modern history. The Chittagong raid was there. The story of Surya Sen. Watch Spectrum. I have a dedicated chapter for that. It's very interesting story. And the movie is also there where Manoj Bajpayee played the role of Surya Sen. Okay, that is an excellent revision for you if you watch that movie. It's a very beautiful movie, very small movie, so you will be able to see the proper Chittagong raid. Okay, the armory raid. So this is again one river name. In case UPSC wants to trouble you, they'll pick up these kind of river names and ask you. Okay, so Kasalong River in the Chittagong Hill Tracts now is presently in Bangladesh. Okay. So again, they are telling about England people. They wanted this timber. Okay, they had this ships, craze for ships, and ships they needed for both war purpose and also for export import purpose. So they were in want for this durable timber. Okay, regular supply for the ships, here it's mentioned. So again, for that they had to clear a lot of trees. Okay, so that was how deforestation was at its peak, you can tell, at the time of Europeans. Before that it was not too much. Okay, and if you see a picture again, they are using elephants. Okay, elephants for moving these logs. The place is actually in Rangoon. Okay, Rangoon is in Myanmar. There is a jail there, and most of our leaders used to be sent in exile there. If you remember, Bal Gangadhar Tilak was sent, and also I think Wajid Ali Shah, the Awadh Nawab, he was also sent during the when Awadh was annexed, actually, in terms of misgovernance in 1857. Okay, you should know these things. Okay, I'm trying to relate history, geography, politics, everything together. Okay, this again, these two pictures they are showing to show the difference between the road construction. Okay, wherever they had to carry the wood log, they would make proper roads. Okay, but see the other places where tribals are moving, there they don't need it, and so they are not making. So many people argue like British people only came here and did all the development. They built the roads for us, they built for this thing, railways for us, telegraph for us. Everything they did for their own selfish purpose only. It's not like they wanted to see India to be developed. Okay, they indeed wanted civilization, or the version. They had this version like Indians are uncivilized and barbaric kind of thing. So they wanted to inject civilization concept according to them. So Western education was promoted, English education was promoted. That is there, but that again is for their own purpose. They wanted cheap labor in the IFS officers, ICS officer, that is Indian Civil Service officers at that time. That time they wanted cheap labor, that is in the form of Indians. That is why they gave education. Same way roads also they did only in places where they needed the transport, not like for everywhere. Okay, so you should understand the difference. When someone comes to argue, you should have strong points like this. Okay, because we are studying the entire thing. Maybe civil service students are the only students who study entire history, polity, economy, social science, everything in this much big amount. So you should be having strong points whenever you are in a debate or in any argument. Okay. So plantations, you know what is plantations? Like in hectares of land, they'll be growing this cash crops kind of thing, like sugar cane or tea, rubber. These kind of things are grown in huge numbers. Okay, so obviously again they need lot of land, so they'll be clearing forest. So this is also one reason for this for deforestation. Picture they are showing the Pleasure brand tea. Even in one of the chapter I showed you Lipton tea. One poster was there where one English officer is there in the foreground, and in the background it is the Indian palaces. So they wanted to publicize it. Okay, they wanted to publicize this and improve the trade just for profit motive. Okay, so later commercial forestry will begin. What is commercial forestry or scientific forestry? Where we will not simply cut trees as and when we like. Okay, we will have a mechanized way or a systematic way. So for that, a German expert was invited to India. Okay, Dietrich Brandes, we don't need the name, but he was brought in, and he was the first Inspector General of Forest in India. Okay, who is preparing for Indian Forest Service, maybe they need to know some details, otherwise it's not required. So first Inspector General of Forest in India, this guy from Germany. Okay, then what he did is he will analyze all the things, he will find scientific measures, and he will tell like this many trees should be cut means that many trees should be planted also. And one problem or one defect about this is, this picture will be like this. Okay, if you see, all trees are of same height, same width, same gap, same everything is like in an aligned version, right? But one problem is, earlier here there would have been a mixture of all kind of trees and all kind of things which tribal people depended upon. Now they'll cut everything, and then they'll do this thing like maybe only sal trees are grown. Okay, then what about the other trees, other things which we get from plants? We'll lose that, right? So that is the defect of this kind of system which they bring in. Okay, of course it will be promoting the greenery, but it will be just one type of tree. Okay, so that is a problem. And this picture is actually from Tuscany, Italy. Okay, so it is actually popular forest, popular trees were there in news. Try to find out why it is important for UPSC prelims. Okay, so popular trees were there, and here again Deodar plantation in Kangra. Okay, Kangra Valley, tell me where it is. So 1933, this is again a picture, old picture, and then they set up actually this Imperial Forest School, okay, in Dehradun. So they were again going little more or to say scientific way. Imperial Forest School in Dehradun, India. Okay, so this place is being set up. So scientific forestry, I told you the term what it is. Indian Forest Act was coming in. Okay, so Indian Forest Service is coming in. Brand is the same person, set up the Indian Forest Service, okay, for which many people are preparing. Indian Forest Service is 1864, Indian Forest Act is 1865, then Scientific Forestry, then there's Research Institute, Imperial Forest Research Institute at Dehradun in 1906. So see the timeline, okay, after 1857 revolt till the 20th century you can tell. Now, in scientific forestry, I told you what is there, lot of different types, that same story again in text they have given, okay. Then this is enacted, and you know, now when we study, we will be studying like 1927 Forest Act. Actually, the same act was amended, okay. 1865 Forest Act was amended 2 times, once in 1878 and once in 1927. That is why we have this Indian Forest Act 1927 now, which we all prepare, okay. Now, 1878 Act divided the forest into 3 categories, that is reserved, protected and village. This is like the biosphere thing which we do, like we have this core zone, then we have the, what is it, the transition zone, then another one more zone is there, outer zone or something, okay. So 3 zones are there, right, where the people participation, people occupation, everything will be controlled. So same way the forest had 3 categories under this act, okay, under 1878 amendment. So reserved will be, you know, it will be totally protected and nobody can enter, okay. And the protected will be like less restriction, village forest will be like people can get the forest, the minor forest produce and all. So that's how they divided based on this act. Now, however, the life of people affected. So forest and people, they had a different idea about what a good forest should be. Obviously, they don't want the same kind of trees, whatever story I told you, okay. Scientific forestry, it's given here what it is, a system of cutting trees controlled by the forest department, in which old trees are cut and new are planted, okay. So again, this picture, if you see, this is actually the mahua plant, I think, yeah, mahua flowers they are picking up, okay. It is used for eating as well as preparing alcohol. So early morning, even before the sun is rising, these people are out of the forest and they will be getting all these things. But when these are all cleared and then one poplar tree or sal tree is only planted, then how will these people get all these things, right? So that is what is the whole idea told in this paragraph. Again, here tendu leaves, they are telling, okay, sale of tendu leaves is a major source of income for many people, okay. They used to get it and then sell it in the market. So that is also lost because of this kind of scientific forestry. So they use everything, roots, leaves, fruits, tubers, you know, everything they use. And again, stories are there, we don't need it. Here some terms are there, but not very important, okay. Disposable plates and cups, and then siyati, some term they call, I don't think it's required. Semur means silk cotton, okay. If it's important, I'll tell you, else we don't need it. We know UPSC pattern, we know what UPSC asks, so these people don't ask these things, okay. Then again, bringing grain from the threshing ground to the field, so their daily routine they are showing. Hunting and fishing, so you know that these kind of things also became illegal. They used to bring strict rules. So overall, it's like tribal life is getting controlled. That thing they are telling with few examples. That's all, okay. Don't worry, like it's like too much data here, but unwanted things only. There's no much thing here. Again, the shifting cultivation, we have done this in multiple times in multiple chapters, okay. So again, lot of names I told you, like Lading or Ladang will be the name in this particular Southeast Asia, Indonesian region. Milpa is in Central Asia, that is Central America, sorry, like kind of Mexico region you can tell. Then this Chitmen or Tavi in Africa. Chena in Sri Lanka, okay. At least when you hear the name, you should know like it is not in India. At least that thing you should know, okay. We cannot by heart everything, but still try to make a note of this, at least 5 things, okay. Ladang in Southeast Asia, Milpa in around Central America, Chitman or Tavi in Africa, and Chena in Sri Lanka. Everything is shifting cultivation only. It's also called Sweden agriculture, okay. This maybe it's a new term for you, Sweden agriculture, okay. It was not there in class 6 to 8. So Sweden agriculture also refers to the same thing, okay. It's just a terminology. In India, you know, multiple names are there in multiple places. Don't try to remember everything. Just know like June cultivation is there in the northeast, okay. Remaining, try to read it, but don't by heart everything. Okay, local terms for Sweden agriculture. This again picture about some Taungia cultivation. It's actually a system where local farmers will be using this kind of sticks actually, and the end will be pointed, iron pointed, and they will be putting holes on the soil, and the men will be doing this, and women will be scattering the seeds in that holes. Okay, that is how they do the Taungia cultivation. Okay, in some Burma region. Okay, Taravati division in Burma. You know that time Burma was part of India. In 1935 only it was separated, and it was decided to make different constitutions. Okay, in the General Act. Sorry, the Government of India Act 1935. Okay, so again I told you bamboo poles with the iron tips. Woman will saw the seeds. Okay, so that is about that thing, Taungia cultivation and shifting cultivation. I'm not going to explain shifting cultivation again. It's like you will be by heart by now. Okay, here they're telling about the plants actually what they grow. Africa they grow millets. Brazil they grow some manioc, and Latin America maize and beans. Okay, it's just different types of crops they grow. European foresters regarded this practice as harmful they felt that the land which we use for cultivation for very few years could not be grown tree for railway timber. So again, same thing, this burning for this thing, burning the trees and then again growing crops and leaving it fallow for 3-4 land, they considered it as like waste of land, okay, because they wanted to grow for railway timber, okay. So they did not like this process. So this is like burning the forest, okay. They were not encouraging it. So shifting cultivation also, it was kind of banned, or restrictions were there. Now who could hunt? The new forest laws changed the lives of forest dwellers in yet another way. Before the forest law, many people who lived in near forest had survived by hunting deer, partridges and a variety of small animals. This customary practice was prohibited by the forest law. So again, hunting animals also, I told you, poaching, it was considered poaching, and punishment will be there. This is again just a picture of a little fisherman, like who fishing family, one small kid, okay. Then hunting of tigers and other animals also had been part of the culture. You know, there were kings and the governor generals, viceroys and all, they used to kill lot of lions and tigers and leopards, okay. That is why the population reduced, and now India has it as its national animal, and we have lot of schemes for tiger, okay. Project Tiger in 1970s, then I think 1973, I think, okay, Project Tiger. Then again, this M-Stripes mobile app was asked in 2016 prelims. What is M-Stripes mobile app used for? It's again for the survey of these animals. So a lot of things are there. I'll show you a picture, actually a little bit painful picture here. If you see, these many tigers are killed, okay. I think 9 or 10 are there, and this people are posing with great pride, okay, simply going and shooting them down. Also it said like there will be guides, local guides, these tribal people who knows this, like where the animal is, how it is, what is its timing to come out, where it will go to drink water, everything those people will know. So they'll quickly take these people to there, and this person just have to fire, okay. Shooting anyway, these people will know. So they just need to aim and fire. That's all they did. All the hard work the other people will do. They'll be sitting on these elephants and coming, and they'll be simply shooting, okay. Simply they are killing. See, 8 or 9, 10 they are killing, and then their skin will be used, claws will be used. Or it was very sad thing which happened. So Lord Reading it is, okay, Lord Reading hunting in Nepal region, okay, and one Raja is also there, name is not given, some Raja, okay. So that is what happened in the case of, so the numbers also is like unbelievable kind of thing. 80,000 tigers, 1,50,000 leopards, 2 lakh wolves, these all were killed, okay. One Maharaja of some Sarguja is given, he alone shot nearly 1,200 things of tiger, 2,000 leopards by 1957, okay. So it's like after independence also. So British Administrator George Yule. George Yule is the same name of a person. I don't know whether it's the same person, but the name is same. He is the one who is the 4th INC president, or he is the first European to become INC president. Okay, if you know, 1885 the first one is W.C. Banerjee, 1886 is Dadabhai Nauroji, 87 it is Badruddin Tyabji. Why these three are important? Because it's the first three, and also Badruddin Tyabji is the first Muslim. So the third INC president is the first Muslim. It is already asked in UPSC. And the 4th is George Yule, that is the first European. So these kind of first thing you have to know, okay, who is the first one, who is the first Muslim, who is the first European, and then whether any European became twice. Okay, there is one European actually, there is not George Yule. Another person will be there who will become the INC president twice, okay, later in the coming years. And then first woman will be Annie Besant, first Indian woman will be Sarojini Naidu, and there will be one more woman, okay. Totally there are 3 women who becomes INC president before independence, okay. I think some Neelima Sen Gupta or something, try to confirm. So like that, this at least I think 15-20 names. There will be lots of INC presidents, you know, from 1885 to 1947. There are a lot of years, right? At least 60-70 years are there. But at least some 15 to 20 names are there which you have to know. Like Mahatma Gandhi was there in the Belgaum session in 1924. After that, Sarojini Naidu was there in 1925. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was there in 1931. And before that, I think 2 years, 28, 29, now it was Jawaharlal Nehru, because the Purna Swaraj was there, if you remember. Then 1916, it is this guy. 1916, that Lucknow Pact happened, where these moderates and extremists will again come back, okay, reunite. So that time it is the M.A. Ansari, I think. Same way when their split happened, 1907, okay, Surat split. That time it was Raj Bihari Bose. So that area, I think 3-4 presidents are again important. I know it all by heart, like I am simply telling now, because this is the way you learn these things, okay. It's not very difficult to learn names or years or timelines. It's very easy if you know the story, okay. Everything I'm relating with the story, right? Purna Swaraj is a story, so Surat split is a story, Lucknow Pact is a story. So if you know the story in order, you will know the timeline also in order. Just the names, you have to just connect it, okay. So try learning like that. Now again, new trades, new employments and new services. So here again, forests are losing, people are out of employment, people are losing things, you know, that tendu leaves and all they will not get. So again, I think they're comparing with outside, okay, here some Munduruku peoples of this thing, Brazilian Amazon, not very important. So they're telling this chapter, I think we have got a lot of things here. Again, I'll tell you some names. Communities like Korava, Karacha and Yerukula is of Madras Presidency. Okay, this try to remember, okay, because it's Indian. Grazing and hunting by local people were restricted. In this process, many pastoralists and nomads communities like these people lost their livelihood. Actually, next chapter is dedicated to this pastoral. So again, lot of names you will learn. That time state kind of thing, massively following you should be learning. So this one try to remember, it's all South India, Madras Presidency. Okay, Korava, Karacha and Yerukula. Okay, then again Assam, Santals and Oraons, you know, and the Gonds of Chhattisgarh. In different chapters I have shown you the map. I think in this chapter also maybe they'll have the map. So Santals, Oraons and Gonds. Okay, one is Jharkhand, one is Chhattisgarh region. Almost the East India region you can tell. Rebellion in the forest. So I think one rebellion movement they are zooming into, the Bastar rebellion. Okay, Bastar rebellion is a place in Chhattisgarh. So before that they are just giving the leader name, Sidhu and Kanu in Santal, Birsa Munda of Chota Nagpur, and Alluri Sitaramaraju of Andhra Pradesh. All these three movements in detail I have done in my Spectrum series, chapter 17 and 18. Please go and see. NCERT is just giving the names. Okay, so these are all early movements. One second, these are all early movements, but the Bastar rebellion is in 1910. Okay, that also try to remember. Now in 1910, what happened here? The central part of Bastar is on a plateau. To the north of this plateau is the Chhattisgarh plain, and to the south is the Godavari plain. Okay, so between this place, Chhattisgarh plain and Godavari plain, that's between Chhattisgarh and the that time Andhra Pradesh. Now Telangana will be there. Now Indravati river is flowing there. Okay, from east to west. Okay, inward. So now a number of different communities live in the Bastar, such as the Maria and Muria Gonds and Durvas, Bhatras and Halbas. These are some tribes living there in the Bastar region. Okay, so Bastar as such, I don't think it's a tribe name. It is the place where this rebellion happened. Now they speak different languages but share common customs and beliefs. The people of Bastar believe that each village was given its land by the earth. Like they believed in everything, okay, in nature, like earth, tree, forest, mountain, everything they are seeing as some like godly figure, and they have given this land to us, and it's our duty to take care of it, and then we will give that in return also. That is what is they believed. Okay, there's an army camp there in 1910 in Bastar. So they will do agricultural festival. That is the offering they do in return. Okay, they'll take care of it and they'll do this agricultural festival, harvest festival, or the sowing time festival. They'll do all these things. So each village knows where its boundaries lie. The local people look after all the natural resources within the boundaries. They had their own rules and regulations. Okay, they need not have this wired fences or boundaries and all. They knew where the limit is ending and all those things. So here again they pay a small fee called Devsari, Dand or Man in exchange. That is if people from a village want to take some woods from the forest of another village. That means that border they know, and if they want to exchange something, this is the exchange kind of thing what they do. Devsari, Dand or Man. Okay, it's just fees, okay, small fees in exchange. Some villages also protect their forests by engaging watchmen, and even household contributes some grain to pay them. Every year there is one big hunt where the headmen of the village you know, Paragana, okay, cluster of villages, meet and discuss issues of concern. So they had this village kind of meeting also, okay, Paragana meetings you can tell. So it was a very organized way, and these British people will come and spoil everything. So they asked to stop shifting cultivation, stop hunting, stop collection of all these things, and people of Bastar were now worried. Some villages were allowed to stay on the reserved forest on the condition that they work free for the forest department. Okay, so again making use of Indians. That is that reserved section, right? The innermost I told you, reserved, protected and all. In reserved also you can stay and take the things, but you should work for the British free of cost without any salary. So that is how they were allowed, okay, in cutting and transporting trees. So protecting the forest from fire, these kind of things they were installed, these people. Now subsequently these came to be known as forest villages because they were living in that forest under the Britishers. Now people of other villages were displaced without any notice or compensation. For long, villages had been suffering from increased land rents and frequent demands for free labor. So these all I think will be the reasons which will finally come up as the rebellion. Okay, and you will see famines are there. Famines are there as a reason for almost every rebellion. So it happened two times, 1900s and 1907-8. Okay. 1907, the same time Surat split happened. Okay, reservations proved to be the last straw. People began to gather and discuss these issues, and festivals or whatever, everything, or wherever the headman, so wherever gatherings were there, they started to discuss this, okay, with each other. So initiative was taken by this Durvas. We saw this top also, Durvas of the Kangar forest, where reservation first took place. Although there was no single leader, many people speak of some person. Okay, Gunda Dur. Okay, if you want to remember the name, you can remember Gunda Dur of this Durvas community or tribe in the Kangar forest. He was the one who initiated, okay, from one particular village, and they were actually circulating these things for war purpose. The lump of earth, chilies, arrows, mango bows. So these are all their tools. Okay, they don't have arms, right? So these kind of thing they'll use, and they were getting ready for a rebellion, and they were spreading the message. And finally, what happened? They attacked one day, like the bazaars were looted, the houses of officials and traders were attacked, then schools, police stations were burnt, robbed, and grain redistributed. So usually this is what happens in almost all rebellions. So this happened in 1910. Okay. There's again two stories about some people who lived there. Okay, their generation after generation, they know the story, so they're telling the stories. We don't need it. Now the British sent troops to suppress the rebellion. They always do that. The Adivasi leaders tried to negotiate, but the Britishers surrounded their camps and fired upon them. Okay, so they have no mercy in these kind of things. They'll just fire if anybody is going against them. After that, they marched through the villages, flogging and punishing those who had taken part in the rebellion. Most villages were deserted as people fled into the jungles. It took 3 months, February to May, for the Britishers to regain control. Okay, so that much widespread it was. However, they never managed to capture this person, Gundadur, in a major victory of the rebels. Work on reservation and was temporarily suspended. Okay, that making people work for free and all, that was suspended, and the area to be reserved were reduced to roughly half of that planned before 1910. So again, that also reduced, that reserved forest category. Okay, so the story of the forest and people of Bastar does not end there. After independence, the same practice of keeping people out of the forest and reserving them for industrial use continued. This thing continued even after independence. In the 1970s, the World Bank proposed that 4,600 hectares of natural sal forest should be replaced by tropical pine to provide pulp for the paper industry. So if you see 1970s, okay, World Bank gives such a suggestion. 4,600 hectares of this thing should be cleared and tropical pine should be installed so that paper pulp industry can flourish. But protest happened. Local environmentalists, you know, in India now everything you try to do, there will be protest. It's good in a way, but that happened, and then the project was stopped. Okay, so that was a success. Now that is about Indian thing. Now in Java they are telling, I don't think we need it. I'm not going to go through it. It's very irrelevant. UPSC is not going to ask about the tribal people in Java. Okay, it's just for a comparison of how Bastar villages and how the Java rebellion happened. Okay, so the name you can remember here, the Kalangs of Java. Okay, they were a community there, skilled forest cutters, and it was not British there, it was Dutch. Okay, that's also one thing. If you remember the Anglo-Dutch wars, I taught you in Spectrum series. They had an exchange, like we'll keep the land in India, you keep the land in Indonesia. That is how Anglo-Dutch compromise happened. One treaty also was there. Try to find out the name. So like that, this happened. This train picture they are showing, carrying teak out of there. Okay, Indonesia also, you know, it has a huge population and a huge land, this greenery, everything. It's an equatorial country. Okay, you should know which country passes through the equator. Okay, so that kind of thing. Then again, that system where they collected these things, okay, collecting rent and then providing free labor, then cutting, transporting, that was called something like Blando Distan. Okay, it's not important for us. No, don't try to buy heart. I'm just telling what is there in this textbook. Okay, Indian thing we have covered. I think this chapter is done. Maybe it's all telling about the Indonesian region. Maps are always important. Okay, you know, because the South China Sea is also nearby, and the Malacca Strait is here between Indonesia and Malaysia. And also last year there was a question again from this side of the map. Like they asked, like Great Nicobar is closest to which part in the world? Okay, which country in the world? And they gave options like Sri Lanka, Thailand, Indonesia, Sumatra, Java, and all. Answer was Sumatra, actually, this thing, because Andaman is somewhere here only. It is near to this. It is not closer to the mainland of India or Sri Lanka. It is close to Sumatra. So it was really confusing for people who never saw the map in their life. So please start seeing maps. Okay. Here again, First World War, Second World War, they needed a lot of trees. Again, destroyed people's forest and all. They're telling that same story. Okay. New developments in forestry, that again scientific forestry was introduced in these places. Okay, sacred villages, sacred groves is an important term. UPSC have asked multiple times, what are sacred groves? It's like a small forest kind of thing where prayers also happen. It will be there in most of the states. In South India, 4 states, you should know that 4 names. Okay, that is what matched the following question I think once came. Okay, so Sarnas, Devrakadu, Kan, Rai, just Google this. Okay, you will get, or in Wikipedia there is a separate page. Just search sacred groves in India, you will get a Wikipedia page. There one table is there. Every state, and parallel to that they have given the name, sacred name. Okay, just learn the 4 things about South India, the 4 states of South India, what is the name, and then Northeast states also maybe you can see. That is all UPSC will ask. Don't bother about other things. So that is about this chapter. These questions you can pause and see. Okay, it will be the summary of whatever we learned now. Okay, and here see what are similarities between colonial management of forests in Bastar and Java. So for that purpose only that Java thing was explained. So much difference was not there, but such questions I don't think UPSC will ask. So try to revise or focus on whatever we did now. Questions and I'll show you after the next chapter, MCQs. I'll come up with the next chapter soon because it's similar. So till then, enjoy your learning. Thank you and have a nice day.